The baby Urus, that's right, this is the Audi Rsq8 Vorsprung edition, and today we're going to take a look as to why this car has been given the nickname it's got. We'll take a look at the inside, we'll go for a drive, look at the exterior and see what this car is all about. Now let's not play around and let's get straight to the point of what everyone cares about, the performance. Now this car has the same engine you'll find in the Audi Rsq8, which we all know is an absolute benchmark for cars. It produces nearly 600 brake horsepower, which is insane when you put that in a car which weighs about 2.3 tons, which I'm sure will be interesting in the corners. Now this car is available at Enkae Prestige for 124,995 of your hard-earned British pounds. So of course the interior has to be up to par as well, and you'll be right, it is. We start off with this lovely Alcantara steering wheel with the contrasting red stitching here, which just feels so nice to hold in itself. Of course we then have the Audi virtual cockpit, the heads-up display, the upgraded MMI system here in the middle with the infotainment. Of course all your infotainment needs up top with the built-in navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and of course the climate controls on the bottom touchscreen as well. This car also then has the controls for the heated and cooled seats. We've got memory seats with this lovely red stitching here. We've got carbon absolutely everywhere with a hint of Alcantara. So of course you've got Alcantara on the steering wheel, Alcantara on the sides here. Even these up top here are covered in Alcantara, which is absolutely lovely. The headliner itself is Alcantara as well, and of course back here you've got some as well. Other than that, we've got the pan roof, of course, we've got wireless charging, and this gear selector here is covered in Alcantara as well, which I really like. Let's go check out the back. Now, as this is an SUV, of course you want a little bit of practicality to go along with that sportiness as well. And back here, it is very practical. Now we've got a bunch of legroom here and a tremendous amount of headroom, which of course then you have the Alcantara headliner, as I mentioned. And of course you've got heated seats here in the back with the 4-zone climate control, and these seats can be adjusted slightly as well, which is very nice, of course, when you have your kids or your dogs back here. In addition to that, of course, then you have the blinds here on the windows, which I really like, and of course the all-important privacy glass. Now the Rsq8 has 605 litres of storage back here in the boot, which is exactly the same as the regular Q8. So with all that sporty goodness, you're sure you're not compromising anything. So here we are then in the Rsq8. Let's go for a drive then and see what this beast is all about. First, I just want to point something out, which is one thing I really like about these Audis. You don't have to keep clicking this button here if you want to go up and down. I know a lot of people say, what's the point of having these buttons if you can't physically turn a knob to go down the temperature quickly? Well, you can. You just hold it down and you do that. You just swipe it down. The car is beginning to rise there. Of course, all these Rsq8s by standard, I believe, do come with the Audi air suspension, which is absolutely fantastic. Now you can see as I'm just cruising along, as it goes into third gear. Also, it's starting to rain. Of course, just as I do a driving segment of this video, typical British weather, it's starting to rain. What more could we expect? You see, as I'm driving along here, as of course this is an SUV, it is eating up the bumps. It is very, very comfortable there. The wipers, of course, be tucked down into a position where they're not obstructing your view. These pillars as well are not too big. In some of these sort of bigger SUVs, you find that the pillars are absolutely massive, and the wing mirrors, they obstruct your view when you're looking into a junction, let's say, or to your right for a roundabout. But Audi have got it up, of course, absolutely spot on here. The view is very, very good indeed. Now I've just got the built-in navigation to just put in back to HQ at Enkae Prestige Motors here in Huddersfield, just in case I get lost. I can follow that and it tells me where to go. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. When you put in a address here in the navigation, that bottom climate control screen actually turns into a little bit of a keyboard. So you can use that to type, and it has the sort of haptic feedback you get on your phone, and it feels very natural, and you can use that, and it's very, very nice. The whole infotainment system, of course, this having the upgraded MMI Audi infotainment system, is very, very nice indeed. Now unfortunately, as I said, it is raining, so I'm not going to test this thing in the corners like I would normally do and like to. If you haven't seen actually our Audi Rs6 review that I did, be sure to click that pop-up banner up on your screen right now to check how that particular car is. And that car actually sold, I think, a lot to do with that YouTube video. The customer actually walked into the dealership, He came straight towards me. He said, "Mate, I really like that video." So if you're watching this, hello to you and thank you for the business, obviously, as always, to all of our customers. But guys, if you are interested in any of these cars that we do videos on, they are all available at Enkae Prestige Motors. Over 90 plus cars on site ready to go. So now as we're cruising along, I'm actually going to turn left here and now switch this into dynamic mode. Well, that was a nice Golf R, I think, that flew by us. So now straight away I can sense the steering is a bit more tighter. The exhausts open up. Now there is a bit of traffic ahead of me, but if I were to just... Now for a 4x4, an SUV, that is ridiculous. I love that Audi have done this. They've really taken what is in fact the Audi Rsq8, of course this has the same engine as an Rsq8, and just put it on steroids. It's absolutely insane and I'm all for it. I absolutely love this car. Now would I have this over the Lamborghini Urus? Now of course the Urus is a Lamborghini, so it does have that brand, that heritage there of course behind the name, I get it, but this is much more cheaper and it's a lot of fun to drive, I must say. I could do that all day, but we'll burn fuel, so let's not. Of course, sticking to the national speed limit, there is a Ford Focus in front of me, which is blocking our view, unfortunately. But what can we do? We're out here testing on public roads now. Well, what is quite a funny thing. This is a sporty sort of car. It still being an SUV with all the luxuries, it does have the massage function. So as I'm cruising along in dynamic mode, I can downshift, get that lovely noise behind me with that lovely exhaust, but I'm still getting a massage, so I'm in comfort and all the luxury of the modern day Audi as we would expect. I've got a lovely Alcantara steering wheel that I'm holding here. It just feels a bit too good to be true, but here we are in this Audi Rsq8 and Audi have done it. This is, in my opinion, the ultimate RS car. It has all the sports and sort of functionality you would expect, of course, like the RS6 and all that, like I mentioned, and all the performance, but then it has the SUV, so you got your wife and your kids and your dog you can have in the back, and it's got a massive boot and it's just super practical as well. So very, very impressive from Audi. I'm going to go ahead and turn that massage function off. All right, there you go. Just press it once and it turns off and on. You can pick through all the different modes there if you really want to as well. Of course, the speed limit here being 60 miles an hour, we're going to stick to that. It is weird because even in auto, I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to dynamic. You see the car automatically downshifts 2-3 gears there. This is such a big and heavy car, and it's quite high up as well, don't get me wrong. Not the biggest thing in the world, but it still weighs over 2 tons easily. But it sticks very well, even in these wet conditions. I'm not flooring it too much. The steering is very, very responsive, as you can see there. Quite impressive, I must say. Now, of course, with the heads-up display on this model as well, I'm not sure you can see it with the camera angle. I've tried my best to angle it as best as possible. It does help a lot. Of course, you have your likes of your navigation. It shows you exactly where you're going. The lovely, nice little light blue arrow. It has your speedometer, of course, with your speed sign recognition, which this car also has. Then, of course, it tells you if your cruise control. This car having the adaptive cruise control, so of course you can flick a button down here and it will keep a certain amount of distance from the car in front of you. You can see just down there it notices that this road is 60 miles an hour and it's activated the system to keep in lane while I'm driving, of course, which is very, very handy. All those longer journeys, it just takes the stress and fatigue out of the longer journeys, I think. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to comfort mode. And just like that, you see we're cruising along, the car upshifts a couple gears and it's nice and quiet. Of course, this car having the optional privacy glass. Oh, I want to point something out there. You see there, it actually went into D, but it didn't say a number. That's apparently because this car can cruise for up to 40 seconds without the engine engaged. So I'm going sort of downhill here. I'm going to let off the accelerator. I'm not quite sure how you engage it. No, it's not doing it again, but I'm sure you saw there briefly. If not, I'll put a quick snippet of it up. It disengages the engine for up to 40 seconds, I believe. So of course, that being more, you know, fuel efficient, as if you will, to save petrol, because trust me, this thing is a thirsty girl. Yesterday I put in about 27 pound in, I think, from zero, and it only went up to about 45 miles. You can see they're now down to 40 miles. So as you would expect from a car like this, it does drink quite a lot of fuel. You see, even when I'm cruising along here in comfort, I can use these paddles, and I'm gone, just like that. Now of course, this car having the same engine from the RS6, the 0 to 60 time is something like 3.8 seconds, which is ridiculous for a car like this. Now I'm not going to test it, because of course we are on public roads and it is slippery, and of course this car is for sale, so I don't want to crash it. But of course, have that as you will. Some people have tested it and it's actually become quicker than that recommended time from Audi, but it is absolutely astonishing what they've done here. They've built, in my opinion, what is the ultimate package of a car. Again, like I said, the ultimate RS model of Audi that they do, but scrap that, it is the ultimate car. It has the sports aspects to it, it has the comfort, the luxury, the sort of utility SUV side of things. It's an Audi at the end of the day, so it's a very respected brand at that matter. A lovely car. You can see there it's doing it now. Like I mentioned before, I'm going downhill, so it disengages the engine for a bit. Now it's back into it, probably to use some engine braking there. But very impressed with this car as a whole. Now here on the outside, we're not exactly lacking either. Personally, I think this car is better looking than a Lamborghini Urus, and half the price at that matter. Of course, here at Enkae Prestige, we've added the Maxton kit just to make it stand out a little more. You get your front splitter, you get your rear mid spoiler, got to make sure I get that right from a PDI manager, and then of course your rear diffuser, just to make it stand out a bit more, have a bit more road presence. But then again, like I said, this car is better looking than the Lamborghini Urus. It just does that whole sporty SUV thing in a bit more of a subtle manner, I think. To top it all off, this particular car finished in the lovely Daytona grey with the 23-inch wheels with the contrasting red calipers, and of course the black pack from Audi, which of course blacks out the front grille. You have the black Audi badging, the black mirror caps. It just goes together very nicely. This car is available then at Enkae Prestige for £124,995. We sold a couple of these recently and we have 2 more in stock. So if you're in the market, as always, but not just this car, any other car on our website, check it out, give us a call, give us a DM on social media, give us an email, and let's pair you with performance.